we've discussed normal voices and drum voices, and I want to definitely mention the mega voice. Now, what a mega voice is, it's a voice that was specially constructed to work with the MOX arpeggiator. The MOX actually has 4 arpeggiators, and we'll see how those all work. But before we get to that, I want to give you an idea of what a mega voice is. If you see a voice like I have here, preset 8, it's FO4, Mega 60s Clean. When you call up this voice, it's a strumming guitar with different arpeggios on the sub-function buttons. You can hold shift and tap tempo to set a new tempo. Now, but if we turn the arpeggiator off and attempt to play a mega voice, you will quickly learn that it's a voice specifically designed for the arpeggiator. In other words, I'm going to hit the edit button. And what happens when you're in voice mode and you hit edit, you will notice that the lights on the right-hand side of the keyboard change. Now, what this indicates, buttons 1 through 8 represent the 8 different elements that can make up a voice. An element is one component or one little part of a voice. There are, in this particular voice, 7 different arpeggiators. You'll see that buttons 9 through 15 are lit. And I've navigated to a screen where I'm looking at the oscillator limits, the note limits, and the velocity limits. Element 1 will respond to a velocity of 1 through 60. So anytime you hit a key with a velocity or note on velocity between 1 and 60, element 1 will sound. Element 2 only sounds when you hit a note between a velocity of 61 and 75. Element 3 between 76 and 90. Element 4 between 91 and 105. Element 5 only between 106 and 120. Element 6 only responds when a velocity between 121 and 127. So, there are all these different articulations of a guitar happening at different velocities. Now, as a human being, you're not that good. You cannot hit on purpose the exact velocity you need. However, the arpeggiator, which is predetermined, goes and gets the articulation that it needs. So, again, element 1 is a clean, open sound, and it sounds between 1 and 60. Element 2 is a simple dead sound. It'll be in the pattern somewhere. Element 3 is a mute. Element 4 is a clean hammer-on. Element 5 is a clean slide. So only when it needs to get the slide will it play that particular element. Element 6 is a harmonic. And element 7, as you can hear, is a raking effect. So you can see there's a lot going on in this arpeggio, and it's mapped out so that the arpeggio velocities trigger the correct sound. Now, to give you another example of how this happens, we mentioned briefly about articulations. The elements allow us to get very good detail on all sounds. Now, I'm going to go to preset 7, G10. Chillin' Ibiza. Now, this particular sound mellow arpeggio sound, but a lot going on. What I'm going to do, again, is hit edit and allow you to look inside the voice. Now, we mentioned earlier that in voice mode, there are two levels of editing. There's the common level. You reach by hitting the common button, and it will tell you you're in voice, and you're looking at common parameters. And then the buttons 1 through 8 will allow you to drop to see each individual element. Here I'm looking at element 1. There are 8 different elements in this voice. So element 1 and element 2 actually are pad sounds. All right, I'll isolate element 1. It's a detuned pad sound. Element 2 happens to be this whisper sound. Right? And these are set to play anytime you have a velocity between 3 and 127. So as soon as you play, these sounds happen. But if I play at a velocity below 3, which is very difficult, all right, you don't necessarily get, can I play below a velocity of 3? Very difficult. Huh? Too hard? Okay, there. No sound. Well, elements 3 through 8 happen to be elements that play between a velocity of 1 and 2. Now, as a human being, it's very, very, very difficult to actually press a key at a velocity of 1. However, the arpeggiator, because it is a machine, can actually do this on purpose. Now, what's going on in this particular sound is each time I play a note, or a note is triggered by the arpeggiator, it randomly cycles through these different waveforms. This is a special articulation called wave random. And what this allows you to do is get a lot of movement in the sound. Combine that with elements 1 and 2. So, when arpeggios first started, they were just flourishes of up and down and up and down over 1 octave, down and up over 2 octaves. But now they actually do musical gestures. So you'll see a lot of this combining of functions, sorting of notes, and actually some notes being played directly. Now, this particular kind of voice is a sort plus direct sound. It means, in other words, I'm playing some of the sounds directly from the key presses. Other of the sounds are being generated by the arpeggiator. And this builds some very complex kind of things. Now, in the next section we're going to show you is performance mode, and you'll see how arpeggios can be used to create very, very unique kinds of music. Now, arpeggios can be customized, and it's a tremendous amount of source data for you to choose from. There are over 6,700 arpeggios in the motif. Now, don't sit down and try to play through them all. They're there to be source material for you to overcome writer's block, to inspire you to new ideas. They are totally customizable. Now, I mentioned in voice mode, you can have up to 6 arpeggios in front of you in terms of different arpeggio types. And you can switch between these in real time. As we were playing the guitar voice a moment ago, you could see this is a kind of reggae groove in ARP number 5, and a very funky R&B groove happening at arpeggio 3. Customizing these arpeggios, you have a dedicated ARP on-off button and a dedicated ARP edit button and a shortcut button on the screen, ARP edit. Either of them will take you right into the arpeggio patterns. And here's where the magic happens. You can choose a type of arpeggio. As I mentioned, there are over 6,700 of them here. You see this is a guitar GTMG, Mega Voice arpeggio. The main page where you can set the tempo, and of course you saw me tap tempo, you can do that. The type of mode, whether it changes at the beginning of the next measure or immediately when you press the button. These are all customizable. The number of arpeggios that you can associate with a voice is 6 different arpeggio types with a single voice. And you can use those and switch between them in real time. You can use the sequencer as an advanced feature. You can start to create your own arpeggios. Now, I mention this as an advanced feature because, as you'll get to know, listening to the 6,700 arpeggios, they are quite brilliantly done. And they are chord intelligent and follow your instructions.